Mark, thank you. Super Bowl 54 is in the record books, but the weeks before and after these big games are the focus of sting operations and raids by the FBI and local authorities.
That's because sex and labor traffickers are drawn to major sporting events. This year, Miami transit stations and Florida airports displayed signs about human trafficking and how to spot victims. The campaign started after dozens of criminals were arrested during the 2019 and 2017 Super Bowls.
Joining us now is former prosecutor and United Nations advisor Mary David. Good morning, Mary. Good to see you again.
Good morning. Good to see you too.
So tell us about this public service campaign encouraging people, and we've all heard say something if you see something. Tell us how this is focused on this topic here, though.
It is so important if people think that there's a situation of potential trafficking to just report it to the tip line. It never hurts to speak up if you're unclear about the situation. And we do know that the local campaign in Los Angeles from people reporting things to the tip line has actually increased reporting from the awareness campaign by 1,000% to the national and local human trafficking hotline. So it is effective. It is working.
Yeah. You say there are 5 signs, or you're going to share 5 signs to spot human trafficking in plain sight. The first sign is branding and tattoos.
Traffickers actually tattoo their victims, brand them with derogatory terms or their name to signify their control and ownership over the victim. They will often do this across their cheek or above their eyebrow. And when you see this, it's often an indication of human trafficking.
The second sign raises a red flag for people who lie about their age. How is that a telltale sign?
Underage victims of sex trafficking will often say that they are 18 in order to prevent their trafficker from in any way being indicted as part of that. So while they may face a minor charge of prostitution, they are keeping their trafficker safe from being involved in a crime of committing human trafficking with a minor. And you also have to worry about this in the context of people who are undocumented, who also worry about just any implications that could fall through if they say anything about their age.
Another sign is if you ask someone what is your home address and they don't have one, that's a possible symptom, or however you describe it?
Unfortunately, traffickers will move their victims from place to place, location to location, to evade law enforcement. This is just another mechanism also for keeping victims from building any real relationships and being grounded in anything outside of their trafficker. Now their exploitation is their entire world. Everywhere they go, the only thing that's constant is that trafficking and their trafficker.
The next sign would involve where people become victims of traffickers and how they go about doing that. Explain that for us.
Well, traffickers are actually targeting homeless youth, runaways, and those who are in and out of the foster care system. What all of these populations have in common is that they are a group that lacks any sort of stability or support network around them. Traffickers know this, so they're actually going to bus stops, to homeless shelters, to group homes, and they're actually targeting those individuals because they know that they don't have access to any real resources of stability that they're desperately craving.
Your final sign is about people who work long hours without taking breaks. They're routinely transported in groups to those work sites. And we heard just last week, we reported about this fact. The 3 leaders of the Kingdom of Jesus Christ Church here in Southern California in Van Nuys were arrested on human trafficking charges. They're accused of tricking followers into becoming fundraisers and then arranging sham marriages to keep them in the U.S. This is labor trafficking and sex trafficking merging, it seems.
Absolutely. This is a situation where you have victims, and in that case, for example, they were reported to be sleeping in their cars and working for very long hours. Unfortunately, what happens is these are people who don't get sick days, vacation days, or any time off of work. Often where they live and where they sleep and work are all in the same unit, which just compounds this issue of them being exploited and not having a means of escaping.
Yeah, Mary, thank you so much. Appreciate you coming in this morning. Mary David is a former prosecutor and an anti-sexual exploitation advocate who travels the country speaking to groups and raising awareness about human trafficking.
And we want to tell you about an upcoming event in Southern California to raise more awareness. The See It, End It Film and Arts Festival is happening April 3rd and 4th at the historic Grand Theater on West 6th Street in San Pedro. Proceeds will go to the YWCA of the Harbor area. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks,
Good to see you again.
Thanks for having me.